Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Brendan. I'm the head coach and owner of Raw Motion Fitness. Over the last few weeks, I've been making videos about functional patterns and their 10-week course and my feedback on it. This is coming from a person who, I've got a chronic pelvic pain syndrome. That's officially the diagnosis, but essentially I've got a biomechanical issue with my pelvic floor going into my left hip, which is causing me chronic pain. And I've been through physios, doctors, pain clinics, all sorts of things. If you want to catch a recap of my functional patterns videos to kind of intro this, then you can click on the cards above and you'll be able to check those out. I've been dealing with chronic pain for about a year and a half now, and functional patterns is pretty much the only thing recently that has been giving me successful relief, but also, as you'll find out later in this, actually exacerbating some of the symptoms with good reason. I started the 10-week course a little while ago, probably about a year ago that I bought it, and then I dabbled in it and I carried on training and trying to push myself and do the traditional methods of training that I was so accustomed to. And then I got to a stage where I injured my right calf as I was trying to train, and I was like, oh my god, I'm injured in my pelvis, I'm injured in my calf. I think I've got to give this 10-week course my full attention, which is what I did. So I started with the 10-week course, focusing on just the simple 2 to 3 weeks at the beginning, and thinking about how to move better, the release work and some of the stuff that's in that. And it just really gave me a really good grounding. But I got to a certain point where I got stuck. Then I reached out for some help. I got to about this level, so if you see the picture on screen now, I got to about that level with my posture and my body, and as you can see, I've got a really thick torso, I've got a barrel chest, I've got kyphosis, I've also got chronic pelvic pain, and over the years I've lost a whole bunch of weight. But if you want to learn a little bit about who I am, what I do, and how I've gotten to this point in my life, then stick around because it's going to be quite interesting. So essentially, I grew up in Zimbabwe and Botswana, so I lived most of my young life in Zimbabwe, and I played cricket and golf from a very early age. From like 3 or 4 years old, I was out running around a cricket field, running around on the golf course, walking around on the golf course, swinging things, throwing things, very sort of primal in that sense. Obviously, throwing, jumping, running, it's all a very primal thing. I wanted to take cricket to a professional level in Zimbabwe. That was my goal. I wanted to play cricket for Zimbabwe. And then when I got to a certain age where, you were looking at transitioning into Zimbabwe teams and starting to trial for all these sort of top league teams, the country kind of went into turmoil, and there was a lot of stuff going on there at the time. I won't bore you with the details, but essentially we moved to live in Botswana. And at that point, I kind of lost my way with cricket, piled on some weight, and started focusing more on golf. I traveled up and down South Africa playing in regional events to build up my portfolio and build up my experience so that I could eventually get out to America and play. And in that process of transition and all the turmoil that was going on in my life, and changing schools like 3 or 4 times, not spending a huge amount of time dealing with the issues that I was facing, I piled on some weight and then eventually lost it and then gained it again. And I always had this sort of love-hate relationship with the scales. I still played golf to the best of my ability, and then I moved to the UK in about 2005, and that's when I started to really dial in on the golf and really play and practice a lot more. That became a very serious part of my life, but also drinking, partying, smoking all became a very big part of my life as well. I finally got out to the States and started playing golf out there, and actually lost quite a bit of weight in the process of getting out there to the States, because I have always had problems with my spine and rounding of my back, and at that stage I got to the lightest I ever was. I didn't have a very good year on the actual golf course, and so when I got kind of back from my first year at college, there wasn't actually a space left on the team for me, and I had to figure out what was next. So I decided, instead of carrying on playing golf, to just throw myself into the pub game in London after the financial collapse in 2008. Drink, eat, party, smoke, and lose my way completely, and I piled on loads of weight. I got to my biggest, which was about 140 kilos. So I had this athletic background and gone completely the opposite way. And the whole time, what I'd like to say about this athletic background is nobody ever stopped to tell me that I was moving correctly, or that I had imbalances in my body, or that I needed to think about my rib cage compression or the compression of my spine. At no point did that ever come into my life. No one ever looked at how I walked or ran. I just kind of did things. For a lot of people with a genetic background that is probably a little bit better than mine, this probably wouldn't be a huge thing. Essentially, for someone in my situation, with the posture that I have and with the back that I have, it would have been really important for me at that point, when I was really big and starting to lose weight again for the third and final time, to really focus on my biomechanics. But I didn't. I just carried on plowing through running at about 100 kilos, ended up injuring myself with my left knee, and then exacerbated pain in my piriformis on my left side. And if you look at cricket and golf, they're both very left side dominant if you're a right-handed player. So I'm a right-handed bowler, I was a right-handed golfer, which meant that my left side was doing a lot of the work in my golf swing. What that's caused for me, and what we've come out with as working with a practitioner, is that my left side is very tight in some places but very loose in others. My right side is very compressed and rotated over, so I've got a left side that wants to dominate and a right upper body that doesn't want to be lifted out of its dysfunctions. And what that's caused over the years is sort of like a crumple in my physiology, and the crumple and the pain of the chronic pelvic pain is the byproduct of that. So essentially what the work that I've been doing with the practitioner has addressed is what my sort of normal everyday posture looks like, what my sitting positions look like, but more importantly, how do I move in space? And I've always been told, to straighten out your back, Brendan, you need to release the tightness in the front and train your back muscles. So I went away and I released all my chest muscles, didn't train that much chest, pumped up my back muscles with low rows and pull aparts and all sorts of craziness, developed really good muscle tone, but I didn't actually untrain those mechanics, and so all I ended up doing was compounding the issues. And I think that that's something really powerful in the messaging for functional patterns. All in all, over the last 7 weeks, I've been working with a practitioner, and the previous sort of 4 to 5 weeks before that, I was doing the 10-week course. I've actually stopped training any traditional methods. I've stopped playing golf, although I did play last week and that kind of set me back a little bit. I've stopped any other activity other than going for a couple of walks here and there and doing the functional patterns programming, because I really want to give this some time to sink in. With this process, I'd like you to think about a transcendence through what traditional training does. So if you have ingrained yourself in a particular position your entire life, or you've been doing something repetitively over and over and over again, sitting at a desk, sitting in a car, maybe playing a particular sport, you will have certain dysfunctions in your body that will have developed over that time. And if no one really takes a look at that objectively, sure, you could probably bumble through and get on with life, but 9 times out of 10, people are going to end up with some form of pain or ache at some stage in their lives. So what I'd like to do right now is just throw up on screen for you what I was like before I even started with FP, what I was like when I started with the 10-week course, and what I got to at the end of like week 3 or 4. And then if you have a look now, you can see that this is what's happened since working with a practitioner. Now, I can tell you right now, on the most recent one, which I took this morning, that picture there is really, really decompressed compared to where I was before. And I think a lot of the time it's very easy to get kind of sucked into the aesthetics of everything. And it's really easy to get sucked into, what the industry deems as sort of normal and what we should attain. But ultimately, what we're really got to be thinking about here, guys, is longevity. And so if you're worried or concerned or thinking like, is this the right path for me? Well, if you're in pain, it's definitely a path that you should consider going down, okay? If you're thinking about changing up your training and learning something different, then I want you to think about functional patterns as learning something that is in the fitness realm but has practical applications, purely functional training. And when I say functional, I mean functional in the sense of how do you walk, how do you sit, how do you run, how do you move through space in an everyday environment, not thinking about, oh, functional training is lifting a bag on my shoulder. Like, when was the last time you ever did that in real life these days? You know, when was the last time you climbed up a rope, right? When was the last time you did a clean and jerk or clean and press, or when was the last time you did an overhead snatch with a barbell? That's not functional training. I want you to think a little bit differently about it, but also I want you to understand that, like, my progress within this has been really, really powerful and something that I want to explore further within the human biomechanics realm. I'm desperately waiting for Naudi to announce different dates for their functional patterns programming and their courses beyond the 10-week course, because I've learned so much from studying this stuff. And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If you're treating your fitness and your health like a chore, like a tick box, then you're going to come unstuck. If you treat it as something that you need to study and spend time learning, like a skill, then that's when you're going to see massive progress, and that's the realm that FP functions in. So I hope this video has kind of been good for a little bit of an update for you. I'm seeing tremendous results. Yeah, okay, my symptoms got exacerbated by some of the moves because we needed to figure out what was causing all the problems. Today, as I make this video, I have had no pain today. Sleep was better, my posture during the day is better, I feel like I'm holding myself up stronger. All these things are starting to kind of unfold, and I've only been with this programming for 7 weeks. So imagine what I'm going to achieve in 12 months. Imagine what you could achieve in 12 months is what I would like to say. So am I pitching to you for functional patterns? Well, hell yeah. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd like you to hit the thumbs up button, that really helps out the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you want to check out any more videos coming your way. I'm going to keep making these videos like I've said before, and I really want to keep you updated and in the loop. Understand that the progress that you make will be defined by the effort that you put in. If you want to see massive progress, you're going to have to put in massive effort to learn something new. It's like that with anything in life. And if you have questions or you need some help along the way, then just reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation. Other than that, have a great day, stay strong, and keep moving.